Hello and welcome back. And as you can see behind me, I made a little bit of progress on the greenhouse slash shed yesterday. I've got the rough shape lined out. I know how I want to do it now, and all I'm going to be doing mainly today is seeing if I can get the front and the side clad. I'm not going to get the back or the opposite side done because it's just taking far longer than expected, but at least if I get the front and side done, I can put the blue plastic around the rest of it, keep the weather off. It's a little bit colder today, but we're carrying on. I've got my tools with me. Unfortunately, I'm using a handsaw at the moment because I don't think the local residents want to be woken up at 7 o'clock in the morning with someone getting a circular saw out. So we're just going to progress with a handsaw. I'll just take you a little bit closer and show you what I've got done. I've been watching various YouTube videos over the past week or so just to see the best way to build the shed. So what I've done here, I've just put a piece of wood and it's extending roughly the same thickness as the shiplap that I'm using, so that'll give me a nice tight seal there. I've left a little bit of a gap for expansion, and then round on this side you can see what I've done there, so that's a good gap there. So that's my bottom board. The bottom boards are all level and square, and this one has just been temporarily dropped in so I could work out the height for the polycarbonate window. So today, like I said, I'm going to see if I can get the wall that I've partially started, this wall done, and I've got some pieces that I need to cut to hold the windows in place. I've got some old pallet wood that was really cheap, and then I'll just see if I can show you with this piece. When I've put the windows in, I'll just put that across the front, like so, and it'll hold the windows in place. And then I'm going to put a batten on the back face here, and that should push the windows nice and tight, stop them rattling and coming out in the storms. So it's pretty slow going at the moment with a handsaw, but probably 6 or 7 more pieces and I should have this wall done. The problem I've got is the quality of the wood isn't brilliant. That one's got a massive gouge, so if I put that together, there's going to be a big hole where the weather can get through. And the offcuts aren't quite long enough, but I'm going to keep them because I think they'll be okay for going around a window or something. And I've got to sort a door out, but that's a job for next week. Right, so let's just carry on measuring and dry fitting. I've not nailed, the only thing that's nailed together is the bottom board. That's nice, level and square, and I'm just building my way up. And then I've got a little pencil mark there for that's the minimum height that the shiplap can be. Anything over that, it will just be a trim to hide the windows. And then obviously I've got to put these little supports all the way down there and all the way along here. But I just want to get the cladding on for now. Right, so enough talking. Let's get some doing done. This is my little temporary workstation. So I've got my top pattern, which I know is the right size. All I'll do is line the back up there, make sure it's square, push the saw blade up against the wood, use a speed square to make sure my cuts are nice and square and level, and then just cut it through. And this is my makeshift support, an old step ladder with a paving stone on top, but it seems to be working. So I'll just get the next lot cut and then carry on. That's the back glazed wall done. I'll just turn my attention to the front wall. My measurements weren't a million miles away when I estimated the position of this top rail, probably about 5 or 10 millimeters out, which isn't terrible. So what I'll do is I'll drop this piece down and use it as my pattern to cut all the rest. It's taken about an hour to get this section done, so with a bit of luck, be a similar sort of time scale for this one. And also what I'm going to do is, it's not a perfect fit, there are some little gaps up and down, so I'm going to take this batten off here, and then I'm just going to run my handsaw down to make sure that all these boards finish flush with the outside of the frame, but you can sort of see what we're going for there. It's going to look quite neat, and this piece of wood will protect the end grain that I've cut from the worst of the weather, but I'm going to paint it all anyway. I've given the outside beams one coat, but once all the cladding's up, I'm going to paint the outside and the inside before I put the windows in. But that's a little way off yet, so next job is to focus on this front section. It's taken a little while, but I've managed to get the cladding around the front face and the side face, and I've also put in internal supports, which are where the windows are going to sit. So the next thing to do now is I'm just going to get the windows cut to size, get them put in, and then I'm going to cut the top piece for the other side, and I can wrap the blue plastic around whatever's remaining, so if it does rain during the week, it's not going to get soaked through. I've also put a little internal support just to hold the centre of the roof, and I may put a beam coming down to the floor just to hold it up, so if we do get any heavy snow, which is very unlikely but it could happen, at least the roof's not going to collapse. I could put a few little gussets in the corner to give it a bit more strength. I'll just see how I go. I'm pretty much making this up as I go along. So yeah, I'm just going to get the polycarbonate cut to size and get that fastened in. Got a good chunk of work done. I think we're about halfway there. It took a little bit of time to cut the windows out. There's a little bit of condensation. I think some moisture left in them. I've only loosely tacked them in. I've not put the trim panels on the front yet, so that's another little job that I've got to do, but time's beating us again, so it's time to head off home. Next weekend hopefully we can get it finished, but it's looking good so far. I'll just show you inside. So the bits of wood that you can see are just temporary battens so that the wind doesn't blow the panels out. Eventually I'm going to put battens all the way around the inside and then seal it in properly. There are some little gaps. I'm thinking I maybe at some point put a window in here because it's ridiculously hot and it's only got two sides. So I can take the windows out and then I can paint all the inside and then put the windows back in. But we're starting to get there. That's all I've got time for this week. Thanks for watching and see you again next time.